If you're a fan of the Kickstammer series, then I highly suggest that you consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. That way you get to see exclusive videos like this, and on top of that there's plenty of other awesome perks too. Anyway, thanks for listening and on with the video.
I wanna take you for a ride.
Welcome to Kickstarter's, and hello everyone, I'm DJ Slug, a guy that spends a little bit too much time looking up retro-inspired games on Kickstarter. Seriously, if you ask me, when used right, this platform is an absolute godsend for people like me. The world we live in right now as retro gamers cannot get better than this. Tiny teams and sometimes individuals are constantly chucking out titles that tickle our retro gaming itch. They're using hardware and software that blows anything a bedroom coder of the 80s could ever get their hands on out of the window, and because of the competition's AAA multi-million-dollar industry, these games are cheap, and thanks to Kickstarter, these developers get to work directly with us if they're good enough. On paper, this is perfect, and although a good amount of titles I backed personally are far from the finished product I would have hoped for $10 or less, I never feel cheated because it's the journey that the good ones take you on that in most instances make the whole experience worth my while. But then again, this is just my opinion, because for every mediocre to good or even great game that Kickstarter churns out, there is an endless wave of crap that not only under-delivers but also shows us just how scummy some of these developers can be when not looked after by the big guns. Seriously, these two brothers right here made a game that should have been perfect for someone like me, who is a fan of, Zombies Ate My Neighbors or even Dragonfall. A game that someone like me didn't know I wanted until I saw it. A brilliant idea for a game, and although the final product isn't exactly terrible, like I said, it's the journey that led us down this path, and well, these guys are utter cretins that make me feel dirty every time I tried to play the game for this particular video. Strap yourself in, guys, because if you're anything like me, you are about to have two new worst enemies in this Kickstarter's terrible twins. Welcome to Slope's Game Room. Confederate Express is a game that I can fully get behind. It started its Kickstarter life back on October 21st, 2013, and from a monetary standpoint was a success. This isometric shooter with stunning pixel artwork requires that you, a lone delivery guy, must deliver his package through the undead. Sometimes those packages are small, light and easy to get delivered, and other times they are heavier, bulkier and require a much longer journey through waves of zombies. The harder the package, the more money that you will get, and the more weapons you can buy for your next delivery. The campaign came with an impressive campaign video. It showed both of the two brothers who are making the game looking very honest and respectable. It came with an actual tech demo too, and for only $10 the game was yours. Simple. Both PC Gamer and Destructoid praised the look of this little title, and it ended on 2,386 backers, slapping down a combined total of $39,739 when the goal was only $10,000. Obviously, as the campaign was so highly funded past its goal, it was able to hit several of its many stretch goals, which turned this game into something much bigger than originally envisioned. And as soon as the campaign ended, the first update came in about a month later, explaining that an external small venture capital investment firm had stepped in, offering even more funding in return for the duo's help on their upcoming game, which they believed will only take 2 to 3 months to complete. This delay was welcomed, however, by the backers, as the duo decided to use this extra money to implement every single stretch goal that was possible in the first instance. How awesome is that? However, all of you long-time Kickstarter fans will have already worked out what the problem here is. If you're thinking that a second game and all of these added extras are going to delay this bad boy, then you are obviously right. 3 months later, a rather impressive update showcased how good the pixel art styled engine was coming along, except that it wasn't for Confederate Express. This was still that sister game, as they put it, by the unknown external company. They did, however, explain that what you see here, which is arguably better than what was showcased originally, would also be implemented into Confederate Express too. But for now, the real issue is that they can't get that external funding for Confederate Express from the unknown company until this new game is finished. Plus, on top of that, they couldn't even talk about the new game besides what they've shown already, or even tell you what it's called due to being under NDA by that mysterious company. Well, only 4 months later, that NDA was obviously lifted, as Maxim and Denis Pashanin could finally showcase the fruits of their labour with this external game that nobody backed or cared about, but here it is anyway, Knuckle Club. Besides it not looking all that great to play, in my opinion, the game still looked good enough to at least try, and for only $10 a pop, just like last time, I'd be more than happy to slap down the money for this if I knew about it at the time. But then again, I didn't back the original game, did I? Yep, this Knuckle Club title was another Kickstarter campaign by the external company that we now know as Kilobyte. This terrible judgment call of an update came in 8 months after the original campaign ended. It was seen by thousands of backers that still hadn't had any decent update on Confederate Express, and just to rub extra salt into the wounds, the update also stated that Confederate Express will be postponed due to a recent restructuring in Kilobyte. Azure Jack summed up exactly what was going through people's minds after reading this update.
So for backing Confederate Express, we are rewarded with the game being postponed while you launch yet another Kickstarter campaign. Is there a way to unsubscribe from any content that isn't specifically from what I've backed? I don't enjoy paying for nothing except being advertised at.
Besides the new, unaware people pledging towards this new game, Knuckle Club started to get swamped with angry backers from the first campaign warning people not to back it by doing the usual pledge $1, have a moan in the comment section and delete the pledge. This was when some investigation work came into play by the more hardcore backers, and the first thing they wanted answering was, who the hell are Kilobyte? Well, that would be a company that was owned by the two brothers. Yeah, you kept that little detail secret, didn't you? Yeah, both campaigns were being run by the same two people, which they obviously tried to pretend isn't the case, as seen here in an earlier interview with the Clickist, where he stated,
I have no control over Kilobyte's business decisions.
Yeah, sure you don't. It's pretty obvious by now that all of the money raised on that original campaign was being used sparingly between both of these campaigns. But on top of that, that money was also probably being spent in another way too. It was being used to rent out this Airbnb for an entire month, which served as Kilobyte's base of operations. According to the owner, they rented the 600-foot square condo apartment for 44 days from May 25th through to July 8th of 2014. As it was such a long period, Maxim paid Airbnb the first full month in advance, which was $1,827 plus fees. However, on day one of moving in, he complained that the water from the taps was cloudy. In other words, it was hard water. And that he didn't like the gated entrance, demanding that she should give him a full refund. For some strange reason, the property owner actually agreed to this. However, when she went to Airbnb to try and give them back their full refund, Airbnb stepped in and suggested that they should just leave the premises. But they didn't. As she seemed to not have any choice in the matter, the property owner decided to just let them both stay for the remainder of their visit, counting down the 44 days for it all to be over, before trouble started up again 30 days into the stay, where Airbnb couldn't take payment for the second month from Maxim, meaning that for the remaining 14 days the duo lived completely for free.
Your reservation contract is up to date July 8th at 12 noon. This is also a 24-hour courtesy notice that the power and electricity will be shut off tomorrow, July 9th. I hope that you'll check out peacefully today without any need for authorities to get involved.
Hi Corey, this is Maxim. I have consulted my attorney. As I have said multiple times already, I am legally occupying the domiciliary, E104. My nature of work from home is dependent on having electricity, and my income while working averages of $1,000 to $7,000 per day, involving over 2,000 customers in the United States alone. If the electricity gets cut off, I will be losing money every day. I am pressing charges for blackmail and damages caused by your negligence and malicious misconduct, including $3,800 PID espresso machine, as well as the medical bills for my brother's hospital visit after he got sick here drinking unfiltered tap water. Oh sir, not only what you do is illegal, it is also extremely discriminatory in nature and had caused me and my brother a lot of stress and suffering. Maxim.
By this point, the discovery of these issues had made their way into the comment section of the two campaigns. Knuckle Club was suspended by Kickstarter themselves, and in response to all of this, Maxim replied to one of the commenters,
Okay guys, what's the latest deets on the drama? 10 out of 10 would squat again.
You see, the boys have obviously done their homework, because after your property has been rented for 30 days in California, the law states that your occupants are now considered tenants on a month-to-month lease. And to get the person or persons evicted, you would need to lawyer up, costing between $3,000 to $5,000 in legal fees, as well as the 3 to 6 months worth of rent lost whilst you try to fight it. And you guessed it, it turns out that the brothers knew exactly what they was doing, as this wasn't their first offence. Back in June of 2008, they both checked into the Sommerman Inn Hotel in San Francisco with the expected rent to be $225 a week. They did just this for a short time, but on March the 13th, 2009, the owner insisted that the brothers pay overdue fees of $2,700 that they had failed to do so since December of the previous year. The case ended in court, which they didn't show up to, and therefore were forced to leave the premises and pay the remaining money owed. And on top of this, he tried to sue his landlord, another property too, back in 2012 due to ongoing construction in plaintiff's backyard, which was a calculated cost due to the nuisance breach of covenant of quiet enjoyment breach of contract. This too never went ahead due to Maxim never showing up to the hearing. Still, it doesn't exactly paint a pretty picture now, does it? The duo held up the proceedings in every single instance, answering the door with their faces covered with scarves and hoodies, claiming not to be Maxim, but instead the brother Dennis, as the documents would need to actually be given to Maxim directly. And you guessed it, he was never in. They wound up the owner even more when neighbours took photos of all of the windows and doors that were left wide open whilst the air conditioning was on full blast, as she would be the one paying the electric bill and not them. Who knows if this was done intentionally or not? All we do know is that these two were incredibly scammy. And then, a month later, as more and more news sites jumped onto this story, the two started to get nervous. Remember, this was one of the earlier Kickstarter scams, hence its popularity, which is why on August the 19th they packed up and disappeared. Now, no damages were made, and from what I can tell, nobody saw them go. They just vanished. Not just from the property, but from both Kickstarters too. They have completely gone. Not a word was heard from the duo over the next few years besides their names popping up from time to time by various websites listing the worst funded games from Kickstarter, but no matter how many times news sites or backers or anyone tried to contact them, they would never ever get a response. The phones were disconnected and the emails all just bounced back. And then, out of nowhere, surprisingly, on September the 7th, 2017, a whole 3 years since the last update and slightly more than 3 years since its expected release, a new update on the original campaign emerged.
Dear friends, we are here to make amends. We have made many mistakes, and not communicating with you guys was the biggest one. A total dick move. What were we thinking? Overwhelmed and frustrated, our poor judgment got the best of us. You must know that we kept a kindling fire of our project going. This entire time we were putting the game together, a bit slowly but steadily, constantly learning and improving during the process. The game is very close to being finished, and we are working extra hard to deliver the best we can. There is an early build available for you to check out. We understand that this might come as too late for some of you, but all we ask is if you could find it in your heart to forgive us. We are eternally grateful for your support. Dennis and Max.
Wait, so the game is actually going to get released? Sorry to say guys, but your backers couldn't care less by this point after seeing all of the antics that you've been getting yourself into, and your apology, that wasn't accepted either. Especially considering you had the nerve to ask for even more money through a link that's no longer available. And strangely enough, according to the comments, some people actually paid. Maybe someone did care. And lo and behold, would you believe it? On the 22nd of April 2018, Confederate Express actually got released on Steam. Guys, this game actually exists. And you know what? I bought it so you don't have to. Please don't support these absolute felons. In a nutshell, it's okay. You move by clicking where you want to go with the right mouse button and you shoot with the left. It takes some serious time to get used to the controls, and due to its incredibly slow and sluggish movements, it borders on frustrating over anything else. Granted, the game isn't quite as bad as the reviewers, all of which come from Kickstarter obviously, state. It's far from unplayable, but it's not exactly enjoyable either. It's really hard to determine in an isometric view where exactly you will be clicking. You think you're going to be walking downward, but instead you walk up directly into zombie bullets. It's a very odd game that honestly does have a little life hidden inside. I'm sure if it had more development time, then it would be passable, but as it is, it's pretty below average. And one thing's for damn sure, it has nowhere near the amount of extra features that the team promised. Because apparently, if you want all of those extra features that were promised to you, it's actually going to cost the duo about $400,000 instead of the $40,000 that they originally got. And when backers confronted Maxim asking him to explain the shortcomings found in the game, he perfectly responded.
Backers should take responsibility for choosing a too good to be true Kickstarter project to fund. The rest of promised features, world generation, weapon modding, skill tree, etc. is pure imagination. As in, the developer has not shown the ability to deliver those features in any way. That doesn't mean you get to say we did not deliver. No, it is you who didn't do your research before spending money frivolously.
Well, I think that sums him up quite nicely, doesn't it? Hey there guys, thank you all for checking out this Kickscammer video. I might have one more Kickscammer video coming up, perhaps, but I have got a huge complete history that I want to be working on within the next week, possibly two. Depends how big this one's going to be. Probably one of my bigger ones, definitely one of my most popular ones, that's for sure, will be coming up. But anyway, enough about that. I'm going to give a big shout out now to all of the patrons and YouTube members that help me out every single month. And if you guys want to see exclusive episodes, like I said, like the ones that you're seeing here on the screen, then all you got to do is click those links down below and support Slope's Game Room, just like these incredible people do right here. With an extra big shout out going to Gary Pinkett, Ryan Burford, Andrew Dalton, Asobi Quang DX, Jonathan Hayward, Christopher Turnbull, C64 Television, Kevin King, Aaron Gorman, Ben Jackson, Pretty with Horns, Jeff Mianowski, Elf Daughter Crafts, Richard Alderjic, Shadow Dial, Rovan Army, Ryan Holtz, Retro to Next Gen, aka Lou, Dina, Robertson Dunn, Adam Lefty Taylor, Intrigued Gaming, Tim Labonte, Tim Lunn, Conrad Constantine, Pretendo64, Creamy Elephant, Blitz Hedgie, Kinglink Reviews, Big Rico, Jeff Ladd, Mike Martin, RetroReversing.com, RL Sloan Friendly, Shadow Dragon, Game Apologist, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, Ye Old Hamburglar, Dan Petit, Lucas Softail, Ronnie Method, SSWB, Solix Captain, Nick Pollard, Bram Perez, Marcus Kingimo Cut Tyndall, Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, Todd Paul Float G, Petty Mew, That Gamer, Dina81, Trans Rights, and Samuel Nilsson. Like I said, guys, if you want to get your name shouted out, get your name shown, come see what I'm working on, see the exclusive stuff, be part of exclusive rooms in the Discord chat, be part of exclusive chats that we upload onto my second channel, and every other perk that I'm forgetting to mention right here, exclusive t-shirts, all this other stuff, then click the links that you see down below. It will really, really help the show, and it means that I can get to continue making videos that I want to make rather than having to do videos, to please the algorithm. Yes. Anyway, I think that's enough for now, isn't it? I'm going to get on working with that massive, massive complete history. So this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.